Namaste, everyone. Happy New Day. Thank you for hearing the call and joining us. Me
Yes, good day.
and Raymond's. He's going to be getting out of his tent today and going down to the river. And he's on a journey and is traveling on an e-bike. And he's gone 500 miles. And if you'd like to check out his journey that he's been filming, there's a link to his YouTube channel, and there's also a link to the foundational articles in the description, and also there's links there too if you'd like to support us in our work for making a donation.
That would be lovely.
Yeah, it would be
We would very much appreciate it.
Yes. Imagine sitting here with us under this magnificent walnut tree in Pamela's backyard garden. So come, and we're inviting people to come and join us as we join hand in hand as a force for good, as we activate a new way of being, activating the new earth frequencies, rising, raising our consciousness to our truth, to our true authentic self. Just listening to the sirens.
Sending out good energy.
Yes.
Healing energy.
Yes. So we're activating a new way. And this new way is the way of our true nature, embodied as our true authentic self, unrestrained and unencumbered, experiencing life freely by and through the freedom of love, with the power of love and under grace. And I'm just going to invite everyone to actually ponder if they can remember a time on earth when there wasn't fear, when we were actually in harmony and balance with the natural world. And where was it that we actually dropped out of faith and trust in knowing our true self and the creative process? And whenever we bought into the illusion of separation and went into survival as a result of some form of violence, whatever it is that had us lose our innocence and pulled us off our center, whatever caused that disassociated aspect that and which corrupted the emotional body, that's what we would like to look at and bring back into resonance with the truth of who and what we are. Many years ago, I was told to write about transcendence and transmutation to allow for the transfiguration as we shift in consciousness, right? And it's consciousness that summons energy. So the more consciousness we are, the more energy we summon. So the more we raise in our frequency, the more we should be diligent into what we're actually speaking into the field, into the fabric of creation itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we get caught up in moving on that, it's like that up and down, where we're
automatic pilot.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Unconscious living.
yes, living with consciously, conscious thought, and
Living
being diligent,
purpose.
you know, with, and knowing that well-being is our true nature. So we have gotten into the idea of healing, but then because of the human design and our unconscious that we're programming in every moment, the unconscious doesn't discern, so it just sets up for repetition, right? And so if we feel like we have to heal ourselves, then it's going to create more events to be healed.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, I always say, when Sophia and I get really deep into our stuff, I always go, okay, there's a fine line between that. There's a fine line. Like, wait a minute, let's dissect that back up, Let's
Yes.
look at that. Because really, it's true. If you are seeking a healing,
Mhm.
then your mind and brain
Mhm.
and body brain
Mhm.
must do exactly that and make you out of resonance with the truth of who you really are. So
Exactly.
it's about just shifting, just tweaking,
Mhm.
just
Flipping the
fine
switch.
tuning to a different frequency of
Mhm.
thought, which
Mhm.
isn't, we still want the same result.
Mhm.
We're not letting go of that result of,
Mhm.
but we're shifting that, how that is um, developed in our thinking, which
Mhm.
is instead of a healing, we're looking at a well-being,
Mhm.
creating what we're wanting, which is
Yes.
well-being,
Mhm.
health, wholeness, wholesomeness, in alignment with nature, with our true expression of who we really are.
Yes, exactly. Right. And our
Right.
true self is already the master.
That's it. And so then the body lines up for that and says,
It's
oh, yeah, we know how to do that. The matrix begins to,
oh, I've seen that before.
yeah. But isn't it a subtle,
Mm-hmm.
extremely subtle difference?
Mm-hmm.
We don't, Sophia's so good at this. She's always so awesome at reminding me our speech and how our words lock us into a certain
And that's what
expression in our lives.
exactly.
And
Mm-hmm.
that is so valuable because,
Mm-hmm.
you think, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I'll remember not to swear. I'll remember not to do this or do that, but it's way deeper than that.
It is. It.
And we've been programmed the other way.
Mm-hmm.
We really have
Well, it's
unconsciously.
just because of our lack of
That's
awareness,
it.
and it's us that is programming ourselves.
That's
Because
right.
as soon as we're given a thought, we repeat it, right? Just like,
Hmm.
oh, I'm shy, or
And
I'm
then
shy.
another circumstance comes up where your brain goes, oh, yeah, in this situation, I'm shy
Hmm.
because she told me I was shy.
Yeah, and so that's a
Yeah,
limitation,
that's right.
right? Because it's always going, or else we get the idea that everybody's looking at me, right?
Hmm.
And then we get self-conscious,
Something's wrong with
and
me.
yeah, and then we get into fear of talking in front of other people. And
Hmm.
so this, do you see where I'm going with this?
Yes.
It's like it's so like that I had this epiphany many years ago. If only I could just record myself for 24 hours and then go back and listen to the recording, I would see exactly how I'm creating my own reality
Yes.
for limitation.
If you could do it extraordinarily mindfully.
Yes, just with the complete awareness, like
Yeah,
just
with
listening
no
back,
judgment,
because
just
no,
an
no, it's not.
awareness of,
It's yes,
whoa.
because we already know when we go flip into that higher perspective from that unified field of consciousness, that
Yes,
all thought potentiality, there is no right or wrong because it can't
correct.
exist there.
That's right.
It's it actually it cannot. The frequency of the source of who we are, that love, is a frequency and an intelligence, and none of the fear, none of the expressions of fear exist there because it is transcended and transmuted in that second
Yeah,
as soon as you
cross into that
cross
frequency.
into that frequency. And those that have had near death experiences or any cracked
Hmm.
open and had a glimpse into the truth of who we are, that we're one with everything, and have that it's an experience that has no words because there's so much information, and there's mathematics and geometry, and
Hmm.
everything is color. Everything is in that moment. Ooh, this is a great activation.
It is. I'm just sitting here getting totally activated and buzzed out and I'm actually, my brain is going into um like multitasking, memory seeking of moments
Hmm.
where there were significant
Shifts in
shifts
perception
in
and
perception
awareness.
of awareness.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah. And the one thing I wanted to um offer all of our listeners today is, in that knowing, there is no room for shame, blame, or guilt
No, of course
or
not.
fear of
No.
any sort. We're all here to
Mm-hmm.
have an experience, to have that experience. And
Yes.
source doesn't know,
Mm-mm.
doesn't see you as wrong or
Mm-mm.
right
Mm-mm.
or, ignorant or smart or beautiful or ugly or
Or worthy or not
worthy or
worthy.
not worthy, or, oh, you're here for the lesson and you missed the boat.
Yes.
You
Oh,
woke up late. Like this morning, I didn't go to bed till 5 a.m. I usually get up at 5 a.m. But, but and Sophia's just patiently waiting here. When I got up, I was like, oh my gosh, I missed a session. And I run outside and she's just sitting here.
enjoying the walnut tree
Yeah,
and the
just in
birds.
this groove of her little groove. And I
Yeah.
thought everything is in divine time, isn't it?
Of course. Yes.
You
And we get
know,
so
caught
caught
up
up in our thinking and perceptions and projecting, you know.
into
Yeah. And then,
ourselves.
yes, of
We're
course.
our
Of
own,
course.
we are really amazing.
Yes.
I just
Well,
want
and
to
me,
say that.
I've been so good at keeping myself and so stern. Like all this is
So serious.
so serious.
All this is so serious. And me, I bring the goofiness to her life too.
Well, I am
And
loosening
Raymond,
up.
he has a great sense of humor.
He does.
He really balances you out that way too.
Yeah, and he's playful and fun,
Yes.
you know.
And that's what we really do need. We
Hmm.
have to, it would be most beneficial if we just let go and enjoyed the ride for, at in in those moments where we're not so in tune with the radio station, or we're not so,
Yeah,
perfect,
yeah,
or we're not so um in an alignment with what we're wanting, and
yeah.
we kind of wake up and
We
recognize
get
we
pulled
just,
pulled into the intellectual.
yeah,
Let's just say it like it is, right? We
yeah,
get pulled into the intellectual and we start running the story.
yeah, running the story. I love that. Yeah.
and
Oops.
and then we think about all the things that need to get done and all the things that are wrong.
Yeah.
And oh, I got to make that right.
Yeah.
Because this just doesn't feel so good.
Yeah. That's so amazing.
Yes. And so, yeah, our vision is to activate that world where we're actually truly embodied in the truth of who and what we are as eternal spirit, knowing that we never die, and that death is the when we lose the life force of the body, we're just transitioning. But I'm inviting us to actually let go of that whole story
Mm.
and moving beyond it, moving beyond the idea that the body is just a skin suit, like whoever, because it is an extension of the spirit of you. It's and know that um, thought creates, and the body is thought actualized. And so, whatever we're thinking is what's going to be expressed in the body. And if you were the body and you're listening to you talk every day, and how would it feel the way you talk about it? If it was your best friend.
Would
Right?
you talk that way to it? Your
Yeah.
best friend every day, all day,
Yes.
over and over? Would you think
Mm-hmm.
the thoughts you think? Would you project the the implications that you
Yeah.
project?
Yes. And is it making like
Highly likely not.
no? So the
Oh,
body is just informing us that when there's something going on with it, like a disease or pain, and we're feeling miserable, just know that there's an aspect of ourselves that is out of resistance
mm-hmm.
with the totality of who and what we are. My computer just kicked over, but so yeah, I'm just going to invite us to sit with that. And is it time to make friends with every aspect of ourselves, even those that alter ego that that is disassociated and feeling out of sorts?
Mm-hmm. And we were chatting about that yesterday, loving yourself
Yeah.
enough, putting yourself in the position of, you know, your highest and greatest good,
Mm-hmm.
and making that your priority
Mm.
first. Because if we're able to do that,
Once we're able.
when we're able to do that in every moment of those times when, we find ourselves not in that, then we can lift our frequency and come
Yeah.
out of anything.
Mm-hmm. And when we can recognize when others are in that and
Sure.
just hold space for them. And we
Mm-hmm.
don't have to change anything. We don't actually have to think that they need to be fixed or that we are the ones their savior. We can just hold space for them to come
Mm-hmm.
to their own realization. Because when we love,
Mm-hmm. In
right?
the support and knowing that of who they really are as well,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Because if you really give grace to that person and or yourself
Mm-hmm.
in those moments, then isn't isn't that making space for someone to move into
Yes.
forward
Yes.
into the truth of who they really are, so that
Yes.
they can transcend
Mm.
whatever is going on there.
Yeah. And drop the thinking that
Yeah,
got them to where they're at,
that's right.
right? And that reminds me of Canty. Wouldn't it be awesome if
Oh,
we all had a Canty is a you can
oh,
say
Canty
who
is
Canty is.
Canty is such an amazing soul. He's a beautiful man from India, East India, and he assisted me when I first
He's a
was.
monk, right?
No,
Oh,
he's
he
not a
wasn't.
monk.
Oh, he's not a monk.
No, he
Oh,
was just
oh,
just a
he was at.
healing,
Oh,
just a healer. And I heard about him through someone else. No, actually, I walked down on White Avenue in Edmonton. I was walking, looking at a used bookstore, and I came out of the used bookstore. In a hallway, a very skinny old building, and I looked up the stairs to my left or to my right, and there's stairs going up a really thin little hallway, and then I saw a door open, just a door that was open there, and the sun was shining through that door, coming through the windows of the building, and to my left was going out another door to go out on the street again.
mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, that's so beautiful. It was just drawing me that sun gleaming through that doorway,
Yeah,
right? I thought, oh, I wonder what's up there, because this is a businesses, little businesses, right?
yeah.
And I don't
Follow
know
the
why.
light.
I don't know why I
Follow the
saw that.
light.
Well, I do know why. And I walked upstairs, and I walk in, and it looks like maybe it's another aspect of the bookstore, because there was lots of books in there, and
Mm-hmm.
just a little desk reading area. I thought, oh, is this part of? Oh, I can just grab a book and read in the sun, which is one of my favorite things to do, which I used to do in that bookstore downstairs. And I'm looking at the books, and all of a sudden this beautiful voice behind me. He was probably in his 80s at that time. Well, 70s for sure. Maybe no 80s for sure. And I was just a young, um, oh, well, I was just diagnosed, so I was 40, I guess. Gee whiz. I still was feeling 26 in my brain.
There you go. Age is a number.
Anyway, so he goes, "Good afternoon. Is there anything I can help you with?" In this very gentle voice that resonated through my whole body. And I turned around and I was like, "Oh." And I kind of looked at him and he was looking at me and I was looking at him and I was like, am I in, like, where, oh, I realized, oh my gosh, I think I'm in somebody's office. And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Like, am I not supposed to be here? Is this not part of the bookstore?" He goes, "No, but you're totally welcome." I said, "It just looks so inviting and the sun coming through." And then I told him, came in and saw the chair and I thought, I'm going to grab a book and read. He goes, "You could, if you like, help yourself." Like, I was like, "Oh, no, no." Like, I felt so, I was like, "I'm so, please accept my apologies for intruding on your space." "Not at all, not an intrusion." And I said, "Is this your business? What do you do?" And he told me, "Well, I do frequency healing sessions and balancing the meridians." And I was like, "Oh, that sounds interesting. Tell me more about that." So we went through that and he said, "Could I offer you a session?" I'm like, oh, like I was really financially, having difficulty. I was like, "Well, probably not today. Blah blah blah, making excuses, trying not to say I don't have any money." Anyway, okay, Pam's story's going on, but yeah, he was so beautiful. It was the beginning of a beautiful place where I would come every time I had extra time off at work or anything. I was in Canty's place, and he opened the offer for that little chair and come read anytime.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he obviously knew that, somewhere in him knew it was because of finances but he said, "Let me offer you a session." And,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Okay, like, all right, like I have to just save for it, because I think his sessions were 125 at that point in time. And that
Mm-hmm.
was, like 500 now.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Oh, I have to save." Anyway, he's like, "No, no, please, it would be my gift." I was like, "Oh my gosh." Well, you just lay on his bed and he would just hold space for you.
Mm-hmm.
And he would do his, meridian balancing and this little process that he does. And you're in there for like probably an hour, hour and a half, but you feel like you have been lifetimes laying there. He was just phenomenal.
But I wanted you to tell them about how he.
Oh, so when I was diagnosed, so he was pre-diagnosis. So when I was diagnosed with cancer, I of course came to Canty and I advised him, this is what's going on. I need to heal my body. I know that this body created it, so I I have faith that this body can get rid of the cancer,
Mm-hmm.
transcend it, and can we do something together? And he never once charged me for a session, not once. And that
Mm-hmm.
was probably about 8 months already. I'd been seeing him, once every 2 weeks or something
Mm-hmm.
for 8 months. He said, "Certainly." I was so impressed with this guy that by that point, I got him like where he was, nobody could tell where he was. Like it was by accident that I found him. There was no signage or, you know,
Yeah.
and, and he said, "Well, I have to move. I have to move as I'm not, but I haven't found a place." And I was like, "I know where you could go, to La Marcia Mansion, which is this beautiful place downtown Edmonton." So and it was just like full of really wealthy people. It was a very high end
Mm-hmm.
office building, and it was one of the first apartment buildings in Edmonton. But it is like a mansion. It was somebody's mansion at one point. They converted into apartments, which then they
Mm-hmm.
converted into office spaces.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I got him in there. A friend of mine was running the place. I got him in there, and so Canty, when I was diagnosed, he didn't even respond in the way that everybody else would, like, "Oh, what?
Yeah.
You know, the big C.
Yeah.
And he just looked at me and he goes, that's fine. You know who you are. You know the truth of who you really are. Just come, let's do a session. And he just always held and saw me in a place of truth of who I really was. I never once felt that he
You weren't your
responded.
story.
I wasn't my story. I wasn't the cancer.
Yeah.
And he held that space of knowing that I was in full body health and well-being in every moment I knew him. And he helped me through that whole process and gave me space and held the space, as I always refer to it with you. You know, be the Kanti,
Yeah.
you know, be the Gandhi. He was literally a living Gandhi in my life.
Yeah.
Really, he was so beautiful. And that was a friendship that lasted years till I moved here, you know.
Yes.
And sadly, he,
Yes.
I think, retired, and I never had a home phone number for him. So, yeah, we lost contact, but we never really lost contact because he's right in my heart all the time. Every moment I see him in my experience in my day.
Yes.
Yeah,
Awesome.
wonderful, beautiful man.
Yeah. So it's it like this is just bringing me to the awareness that it's up to us to actually see us ourselves when we look in the mirror, the truth of who we are, that we aren't the circumstances we find ourselves in, not the story that we have running.
Mm-hmm.
We are that creative force, and it's our thoughts that we hold on to that become things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
And
I'm
it's so
just
important for us to see ourselves that way, but also
mhm,
it was such a relief
mhm,
for me to
mhm.
go
To
to
somebody
someone
that
who
wasn't
saw
seeing
me,
the
yes,
yeah.
without cancer, who saw
Mm-hmm.
me even when I looked sick. He
Mm-hmm.
never once went, oh, you're looking much more pale. Get on this table. You know, like
Yeah, yeah.
he just, Emma,
Yes.
you look so beautiful today. Come, sit with me. Let's have a chat. He was so
Yes.
gentle. He always saw me in that well-being. It
Mm-hmm.
was so comforting and like a warm hug every
Yeah.
time
You went
I
to
went to him. It was
yeah.
just like somebody just, you know, wow, if Jesus could shapeshift, he was Canty. Like honestly, I'm gonna cry thinking about how
Yeah.
beautiful he was
Yeah.
and
It
is,
is. Yeah.
his spirit, because
Well, everything that we need is a reflection too. So when we recognize it in others, right? Yes. You know, life brings us these beautiful moments, these beautiful gems. Okay?
yeah,
Yeah.
and for someone to hold you in that space and hold
Mm-hmm.
space for you, not
Yes.
hold you in the space, but
Mm-hmm.
hold space for you. In other
Mm-hmm.
words, he had total and full um, faith and
Expectation.
expectation that
Yes.
I was going to find my way
Find yourself.
in my back
Yeah.
into my wellness. And he held that space for me. I knew every
Mhm.
time I came there, it was an open door of walking into that space.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm inviting you and all of us to do that for ourselves and hold
Each
the
other.
space for each other. When we see
Exactly.
the other in a space where it's not the truth of who they really are,
Mm-hmm.
just be and hold that
Mm-hmm.
space for them.
Exactly.
Even just visualize and see them
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
in
And
their joy and peace and radiant
mm-hmm.
health and well-being.
And when
And
I
he's the one, I don't know if I ever told you this, but he used to always give me a hug at the end of the session, and he would wrap his arms around you and he would say, I wish you joy, peace, radiant health and well-being in every moment for
nice.
you and all your loved ones. That's where
Nice.
I got that from. I say
Oh,
that every day
yes. Yeah.
because it was
Yeah.
so powerful. And he would give you this hug that was, you just, it was like he set that into your being.
Yes. Okay, so let's just do that right now. Set that into
The
the earth.
cosmos,
Like, just
the earth's
imagine
being.
wrapping the earth.
Mm,
I wish, and everything on the earth. And
yes.
just say it like,
All
I
right.
wish.
Let's just take a deep breath. And in that space, I'd like you to just come into the 0 point field, as Sophia and I call it, and just sit in that resonance, taking a deep breath in, just opening and allowing your entire being to resonate with the truth. And even if you're not in total awareness of what that might look like or be, just open to that space of knowing that it is. And again, taking a deep breath in through your nose and out. And another deep breath in through your nose and out. As you just sit in awareness of the truth of who you really are, and give yourself that grace of the 0 point field of not having to be, do, or think anything else but this moment now.
Mm.
And so, in this space of nothingness, in this space of everything and nothing all at the same time, where you are no longer the body that you're sitting in, you are the resonance of all energy, the collective of everything and all things all at the same time. And you are love, joy, peace, radiant health and well-being in every moment. Just breathing that in and allowing the resonance of that truth to express itself in, as, and through you, and in, as, and through every person that you see today, every person you have eye contact with, knowing that truth for them, every person you speak with, including yourself. When you look in the mirror to wash your hands after you go to the washroom, just opening and allowing this truth, giving space for this truth, this knowing.
Okay. Did you want me to
Let's
just continue? Did you want to play the singing
yeah.
bowls for a little bit?
So
I'm just going to invite everybody to find a comfortable place to sit or lie down. And as we move into the session, and Pamela's going to start with the singing bowls, but I think we just did the session. We can continue.
Yes.
'Cause I
We'll
don't
just
know.
solidify that in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just find a nice, comfortable place to sit or lie down and just receive. Just open, soften, and allow. Thank you, Pamela. That is so beautiful. So, what I'll be sharing, the journey that I'm going to be, inner journey that we'll be sharing today, is um, designed for us to recognize what is running in our field that are limiting thoughts and that we were just talking about. And you will be using declarations and incantations and deliberately speaking clearing statements for us to act that will just go in like a rotor-rooter and and spin those our attachment to those people, places, or events that, that have shifted or created a disassociated aspect of ourselves, so that we can allow for that integration back into who we truly are, so that we're actually resonating in oneness and seeing in oneness. And over time, I've developed what is called the Taurus breath. Was guided through meditation and inspiration from the higher self to move into this Taurus breath, to move into as a way to enhance that, maintaining that state of oneness, and bringing everything in my field of experience back to the resonance of that love frequency, that purified love frequency, the intelligence of creation, because we are that source of creation ourselves. And so the Taurus breath is like it enhances the flow of the Taurus field around our body. So when we put our awareness on the external world, we just set the energetic intention of pulling all that information into our center and bringing it into the core of who we are, to the center of creation, to the 0 point field, and then to the infinite field of living light, all thought and all thought potential. And then bringing that frequency and breathing that in frequency and information and breathing it out into the external world. So as we breathe in, we breathe out, and as we breathe out, we breathe in. And just becoming aware of the flow of energy. And the torus is like a donut, and the body has toruses within toruses fields. And we're just going to set the energetic intention that the body activates because it knows this breath and setting it into the autonomic nervous system. So it becomes our automatic breath. Instead of just breathing in and out, we breathe from center point, the information. So we're not only just breathing oxygen or that air with the oxygen into our mouth or nostrils, we're breathing information into every cell of our body. And you might have felt a twinge, tingles. And we're just speaking to the telomeres. Telomeres are little antenna. They're receptors for the information. And we're just going to invite them to be activated and start to lengthen again. I'm just going to invite us to just drop into ourselves and become aware of the body. And just put your hands, like if you know the Dove Mudra, put your hands in the Dove Mudra. Just put one hand over the other and put it over your thymus gland. The thymus gland is between the throat and the heart center underneath the sternum. It's the master gland for the immune system. It's also the seat of the soul, the high heart, the spiritual heart. And we're just going to focus on our heartbeat. Just allowing yourself to hear your own heartbeat. Moving into the rhythm of your own heart. And we're going to invite impressing the subconscious with grace, ease, elegance, awareness, simplicity, truth, ease, passion, enjoyment. And when I spoke those words, did any information come to your mind's eye? Did you get memories or thoughts? And I'm just going to invite, as I'm speaking, as thoughts arise in your mind's eye, I'm just going to invite them to treat it like a movie reel spinning in your mind's eye. And as those clips, just treat it like a film, and that film is going to just drop on the floor. We're going to sweep it into the central, into a fire, and into the central sun, or it might just be zipped off, magnetized into the central sun for a reset. So if when I'm speaking, a memory comes up that is that caused anxiety or caused an alter ego, a dissociated aspect, corruption of the emotional body, we're just going to set the energetic intention that we bring that frequency of source energy to bring it back into neutrality. So that we remove all judgment about ourselves, wherever we chose to judge ourselves or the situation, so that it's brought back into the resonance of the truth of who we are, and wherever it might be held in the body as a disease, as a manifestation, or that might be causing pain or discomfort. Releasing the autonomic nervous system from those memories. When we were in that state of disconnect and seeing through in the illusion of separation, because our intention is to move back into wholeness and wholesomeness, oneness with. So we're living and expressing the truth of who we truly are and authentically. For me, the greatest realization was to realize that I am the creator of my own life through the thoughts that I'm thinking, the emotions that I'm feeling, and that the law of attraction is working in every moment, and karma wasn't what I thought it was. It's all about frequency, and the frequency of our thoughts acts like an interference pattern because we're seeing through that the stories that we have running, and it's reflected back to us. So the law of attraction is working in every moment, but also the law of projection and reflection. Can you see the beauty? Rather than through the anger, resentment, shame, blame, guilt, grief, abandonment, jealousy. It's all false perception. And isn't the truth of who you are. You are just love. And when we clean the lenses through which we're perceiving reality, the reality will shift. I choose to be the predominantly creative force in my life. Will you say yes to that?
Yes.
I choose to live the life I love. Would you say yes to that?
Yes.
I choose the end result of health and vitality. Yes?
Yes.
I choose my true nature and purpose, living life on purpose with purpose.
Yes.
Yes. And then once we make that shift, we move into choicelessness because we allow that frequency of the truth of who we really are, that aspect of self, to navigate the waters. So we get pulled through life, dancing through life, because that aspect of ourself, our higher self, knows exactly what it is that we're wanting. It might have even given us a clue by giving us a vision of our potential, but know that we can't have a precognitive idea of something that hasn't already happened. So there is an aspect, a dimension, where we are actually being that. And it's up to us to align in vibrational harmony with that vision. Yes? So, what is it that you are truly, what your soul truly desires for you? Some people are calling it a soul contract, but it's only a contract you made with yourself. It's a spark of inspiration within your own heart. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. And we're just going to invite us to surrender and allow our higher self to show us what it is that we can do to align with our destiny. And destiny is that which we are destined to fulfill. What we chose to experience, what is it that your higher self, has chosen for you? I'm just inviting you to align with that rather than getting caught up in the story and seeing everything from that the mental, opening our heart. Open your heart so that your eyes can see. Open your heart so your ears can hear. Open your heart so that you truly can feel from that place of unconditional love, 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 unconditional love, purified love, where there is no right or wrong. To allow for the transcendence and transmutation of that which is out of resonance with the truth of you. And I'm just going to hold space and allow allow And now I'm just going to invite you to let go of everything and just drop into the 0 point field. Letting go of all identities, all diagnoses. Just going into the nothingness, the launching pad of creation. Now become aware of the light field, all thought potentiality, the Akashic records, liquid love, purified love. Allow yourself to feel, remembering the love, the source of who you really are. And now becoming aware of your unique energy signature coming out of that field. Without you, Source would have no expression. Without the body, Source wouldn't be able to experience what you are experiencing. And Source doesn't make a mistake and doesn't repeat itself. You are a unique energy signature. And we're just going to call up, invoke all of your gifts, all of your talents, all that you came into physical reality to share with the world. Remembering your unique, your original blueprint, your divine design. And we're going to breathe that up from within. Nudging your physical body into that resonance to allow for the transfiguration. And now we're going to call up all of your epiphanies, all of the experiences that showed you the truth of you. It could be a third eye awakening, a heart awakening, a kundalini awakening, through ecstatic dance, breath work, aromatherapy, color therapy. Could even been during when the taking of plant medicine or near-death experience, or just a spontaneous experience that showed you the truth of your oneness with everything, where you recognized and life reflected back to you itself, being totally present in the now. And just remembering that feeling. What did it feel like in those moments? When you're aligned with your soul's truth. And now we're just going to invite you to allow that feeling to go into every quantum particle, subquantum particle, molecule, electron, neutron, atom of your being. And conjure the feeling of appreciation for your willingness to allow yourself to be guided back to yourself in those moments. And conjuring the feeling of grace and gratitude for the gift you received in that moment that you gave to yourself, and that you gave to the world. Because as soon as you had an altered state, consciousness, whenever you have an epiphany, it resonates into the entire cosmos. Because thoughts don't travel. Everyone and everything receives that thought in an instant. It is thought, receives that experience at some level of its being. Reminding everything and everyone that it is just love. And we're going to set the energetic intention that your gut brain is aligned with the heart brain, the awakened heart, coherent heart, with the left and right hemisphere balanced, divine feminine, sacred masculine, balanced within every aspect of your being. And just breathe, soften, and allow. Allow yourself to come back to yourself, present in this moment. everywhere where you've denied love. And I'm going to invite you to lock this frequency and your vision into the autonomic nervous system by taking your middle finger and your index finger and then bending it towards your thumb and then tapping your thumb 3 times. 1, 2, 3, squeeze. And then taking your tongue and tapping the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth, locking it in. And you can use this lock in throughout your day when it's easy, because then the autonomic nervous system will remember this moment and everything that you came to realize in this moment. And I would suggest maybe remembering any vision that you received from your higher self. Think about it before you go to bed tonight, or just write it down maybe, and then just do the trigger, taking your middle finger and your index finger and your thumb and tapping it 3 times, and then taking your tongue and tapping it to the roof of your mouth, locking it in. And remember, the past is the past, and every moment is a new beginning. This moment is a new beginning. This day is a new day. This day is a day of miracles, and I give thanks for this new day of miracles. Miracles shall follow miracles, and wonders shall never cease. And when you're ready, you can wiggle your fingers and toes and open your eyes, and just I'm going to invite you to set the energetic intention of anchoring this like a tuning fork into the earth. And if you know anyone that would benefit from hearing this session, I'm inviting you to share it out. Know that you are loved and loved beyond measure. I'm just going to go on and see if there's any questions. I'd love to hear what you received in the session, and if you'd like some personal support, just send us a private message. Thank you, Donna. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Pamela. That's so beautiful. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste. Happy new day. Happy new beginnings.
Thanks.
May you go through this day with joy, peace, radiant health, and well-being for you and all your loved ones in every moment.
Beautiful.